So, after the debacle with canceling our premiere in late 2009 at the Senator Theater and having to reshoot throughout late 2009 into early 2010, we came to the end of summer of 2010, and at that time I was working very closely with Dylan Lee on color, Dan Shepling on score, Adam White on audio, and Zach Trees on audio. But, you know, despite the fact that the buzz was positive, we were like, look, it's been, 2 years that we've been making this movie, so we really need to put it out there. We need to show it. So we agreed that in November of 2010, we were going to have a sneak preview at the Charles Theatre in Baltimore. We set up this screening, and, the idea was the movie's going to be finished, and we're going to screen it there, and then, we'll move on to the festivals. However, as is the case in life, it didn't work out quite that way. So we announced this, we put it out there, we started inviting people, we cut a final trailer for the movie. We just started inviting hundreds of people, and thinking maybe 20 people would show up, maybe 30 people. It'd be great if we could get 150 people. But, it was still very touch and go because we were still working on the movie. The movie was not finished at that point.
We realized that we had to do a lot more work than we thought. And we had to start EQing things, and we had to start editing things, and we had to cut ADR, and then we realized that the ADR didn't sound right with everything else. So then we thought, okay, let's just bang this out in an evening. It was Adam and I, and we were like, dude, let's just say 24 hours, we'll mix for 24 hours. We'll get it done.
And that's after several sessions a week for several months.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we sort of waited to the last minute. As we got to the final 2 weeks or so, 3 or 4 sessions a week started turning into 5 sessions a week, started turning into 6 sessions a week. And we finally spent the last week or so essentially doing a straight session. We had everybody at Dan Shepling's parents' house in Pasadena. Bill and Deb, who were so very sweet to essentially turn their home over to us. There were computers in every room, workstations set up everywhere. We'd essentially taken over the entire house. Everybody was working nonstop, calling out sick from work. As the days started to become fewer and fewer and fewer, we were taking turns sleeping for half an hour at a time.
It was like 6 a.m. the day of the screening. I think we put it down, pencils down, we gotta export, we gotta have something. So we're exporting and everything's crashing, it's taking way too long, nothing's working, and everyone's tired, everyone's running on fumes or running on not empty.
So we then take that export frantically to Dylan Lee's computer so that he can author a DVD, put it all on disc.
We grab it, we run to my computer, we throw it into DVD Studio Pro, it starts burning, and then it tells me general error, it won't burn, and it's already an hour and a half late. People are already sitting in the theater, we knew it, and it sucked.
And we tried it again, it crashed. And at this point, we're getting reports from people actually at the screening that, hey, there's a lot of people here. There's like 300 people just mingling around. And it's like 6:45. It's supposed to start in 15 minutes, and we don't have a DVD to show anyone.
We're in Pasadena, which is, a good half hour away.
So anyway, I grabbed everything. I grabbed my computer, told Adam to get in the car, threw it all in, sped from Pasadena up to the Charles Theater.
Of course, got stuck in massive traffic. The text messages are starting to blow up on our phones. Our phones are ringing. My wife Laura, who's one of the producers on the film, is there, and she's just like, Eric, you got to get here. This place is a madhouse. You're not going to believe how many people are here.
It was like, this was supposed to be our moment. This was supposed to be our celebration, the send-off for the film, with at least a decent sneak preview of all of these people.
It should have been the greatest moment of my life. That theater, the theater lobby, not even the theater, was packed. You could not move through there. There were hundreds of people there to see our film. Hundreds of people. And this is also, not mentioning the fact that we had realized that the movie that we thought was going to be finished was not going to be finished.
And it was that heartbreaking.
It was going to be maybe 75% of, what it was supposed to be. It meant that we were going to bust our asses, play an incomplete product, and then still have to come back and finish it.
But anyway, I made it to the Charles Theater. I hooked my computer up to the system. It degraded the image quality. Our Dolby 5.1 was compressed into a single a single track because of the audio hookups they had there. Everything was like Stone Age.
It was terrifying because we didn't know how we were going to play the movie.
And then we get the movie, the iMac up there. We realize we don't have the right cables. Someone has to run to someone's house to get the cables. At this point, it's 8 o'clock. We're an hour late for a theater we've rented for 2 hours. And we then have to take time to fix the picture of the projector. So we had to play these trailers that everyone, you know, gave to us.
We'd shown trailers for. We were going to show trailers
Yeah,
from other
and-
local filmmakers as sort of a, you know, a show of respect and community support.
And they came out terrible because
some
we were
of them
trying
didn't
to
have sound, or sound was coming in and going out, and you know, I felt terrible for those people.
And it was heartbreaking because they were trying to calibrate it, and they're up in the projector booth just like dripping sweat when we're yelling into these handheld radios, and it's like 8:15, and we're playing these trailers and nothing's working. Then it cuts off. Then it goes to someone's desktop because that's what we were playing it off of.
And finally, the movie comes up, and the movie was shot in a 2:35:1 aspect ratio. For people who don't know what that means, if you're watching a movie on your widescreen television and it still has black bars, that's 2:35:1. It's a wider aspect ratio. It shows more. They were trying to rig the aspect ratio on the fly and make it fit the screen. Again, things that should have been done before. And so it meant that the top was cut off, the bottom was cut off, the sides were cut off. And shots that were orchestrated a very specific way were suddenly, like, compromised is the only word I can use. Everything was just compromised.
A lot of the audio wasn't as good as it should have been because of the way it was recorded, you know.
The limitations of what we had.
I'm not pointing fingers, but Zach Trees was there. But so we had, that's fucked up. I take it back. no one's fault. This is how it came out.
We showed a very, very, very degraded version of Roulette that night, but people got it, people liked it, and you know, definitely we're very grateful to the people who sat there for 2 hours waiting for us to actually get the film on the road. That was pretty excruciating. Thank you, everyone who was there.
And some people were very, very, you know, in terms of the other filmmakers whose work was being shown, some of those filmmakers were cool and understanding. At least one of them deleted me from Facebook and hated my guts for it. People, you know, some of them were pissed off, and it was just like, guys, we did not intend for this to happen to you.
And that's the thing. I wish anyone that ever, I'd say 99.9% of everyone was amazing. Everyone stayed. Everyone clapped. A lot of people came. Everyone was amazing about
the feedback. Like, I mean, I woke up to literally, you know, like 150 emails, to say nothing of the Facebook messages, to say nothing of text messages, voicemails on my phone.
The day after was...
And, you know, the feedback was, you know, either people loved it or, you know, they were totally horrified and...
Which is great.
...offended by the ending of the movie, which was perfect. You know, I mean, that was ideal. I wanted people to, you know, be taken aback by what they saw.
I wish...
But, you know, the bottom line is that the screening and the way that people perceived the film, it should have been a complete and total disaster. The fact that we had a good film... you know, really saved us. If it had been a crappy film, you know, of course some people did think it was crappy, and, you know, that's, opinions are what they are, but, you know, for the most part, that should have been the end of us, and it wasn't.
It's a little ditty about a urban cowboy named Zachariah Trees.
It's more of a suburban cowboy.
Yeah, more of a suburb. Right on through the night, ride 'em trees, ride to the sunset, ride 'em trees, 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 ride 'em trees. But keep it going. Got a verse going, coming on there. There's a herd of cattle in the canyon, and the cactus are in bloom. The whiskey is a flowing like a sunrise.